the story of a Nigerian American woman navigating through this thing called life. We're doing things a bit different this week. Welcome back to another episode of the Unmet Expectation podcast. I'm your host, Yasende, episode 10. And guess what today is? It's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Yeah, it's definitely my birthday. It's like 10:30 at night. Do you guys want to know the truth about just what happened? I recorded almost 50 minutes of the pod and I forgot to hit record. So I'm starting from scratch again, but it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, it's 10:30 at night. It's my birthday. I'm super excited. I'm super gassed. I'm super here to be. Today, there's like no one. It's just me, myself, and I. We're doing things a bit different today for this episode. This is going to be a very, very special episode because it's just me, and it's just me talking about my journey, talking about just reflecting. So it's going to be a bit of a story time. So please don't mind if it's all over the place. If you know, you'll get the drift of where I'm going, what I'm trying to say. You'll start connecting dots and it'll flow. I've never done anything like this. So, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this, but this is very impromptu. I have a couple of notes that I'll be referring to. And I just wanted to kind of just talk about a time in my life where a relationship, right? Like I said, today's my birthday. I'm super gassed. I'm headed out of town tomorrow morning with my special girls, and we about to paint a special city. We about to have a good time this weekend. So I just wanted to get on here really quick and record and just kind of tell you about my journey and where I am and everything like that. Mood check. I'm in a space of gratitude. I am so grateful for this thing called life. Me and God go together real bad. I love him so much, and he's been such an integral part of just my journey. And I love where he and I are now, and I can't wait to get closer to him and more intimate and know the Bible. And yeah, I'm in a space of gratitude for sure. Space of gratitude and just a space of growth. I feel like I'm growing and just growing in the Lord and growing in just me. As I just love the woman that I'm becoming. I love the woman I'm becoming. Wow. I really do love the woman I'm becoming. Oh. Yeah. So let me take it to the story time. I would say this was like 5 years ago. I was dating someone. Was it 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago for sure. It was definitely May. I met this guy, May 2018. Yeah, so that let's bring some context into it. Met him May 2018, randomly. I was like, all right, he was interested. So I was like, all right, we gonna have fun for a short time, not a long time. So what I thought was gonna be a short time turned into 3 years. 3 years. So a week or two or 3 or 4 of just vibes turned into 3 years. Ladies. And in your hearts of hearts, you know. Because let me even tell you, the first time he and I hung out, I cried. And I don't even remember what I cried for, but I cried. And I was just like, what is going on with me? Why am I so emotional? And he looked at me like I had 20 heads. And if I could look myself, it looked like I had 20 heads too. And I don't know if that was a sign that God was saying, you about to get yourself into 3 years of wreckage. I don't know, but I cried. What? Anyways, I cried. And that was a sign. That was a red flag. Boom, boom, hit him in the head. Boom, don't talk to this guy no more. But no, that's what I decided to do. Proceed. So I'm the type of girl, like, when I'm into you, I'm really into you. Very into you. I don't really like people very often, but the few times that I did fall into like or lust, I don't even know if it was love, because I wouldn't even classify this as love. I think it was just a heavy, deep like. Anywho, all the times that I did find myself in heavy lust, like whatever it was, I'm very like, I like you a lot. Not even just a little bit, like a sprinkle, like I like you. And it's always reciprocated, always reciprocated. But with me, I really like you. Really. So you know how they say, like, I'm sitting here thinking, because what is it? Hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. Yeah, so hindsight is 2020. So I'm just thinking back to a lot of the time. So for the first 6 months of our relationship, inseparable. I'm no lie to you. I was with homeboy every single day. Every single day. Like, I work from home. That was around the time. Well, I usually work from home anyways. I've been working from home for quite a time. I would only have to, and this was pre-COVID, so I would only go into the office like maybe once or twice a week. So I kind of been on that working from home tip for a while. And I would hang out with this dude literally with my laptop every single day. I'm talking like by noon, I was out the house and hanging with this dude from like noon to like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And I would have to be up at work the next morning sometimes. And some days I would have to go in the office. And I would do it and I was tired. Sometimes not even midnight. I would get home at like 2, 3, and I would have to be up. In days where I did have to go into the office, I would have to be at the office. I would have to wake up at like 6, 7 in the morning to get on the train to get into the city. And I'm with this boy till like 3, 4 in the morning. 3, 4 in the morning. Crazy. So, yeah, he and I are hanging out like nonstop, 6 months straight, back to back, back to back, back to back, every day, hanging out, hanging out, hanging out, hanging out around each other 24/7, 24/7, like just inseparable for like 6 months straight. And then I have to go to Nigeria for my grandmother's funeral. And that's when the red flags just start hitting more and them just start hitting me in the head. Boom, boom. So I'm in Nigeria for my grandmother's funeral, and I'm in my parents' hometown. They're from Ondo, like town. And it's not villagey, it's like a city. They say Ondo City, but like it's kind of a village. I don't have any service. I'm texting, trying to get through this guy, T-Mobile sending you're gonna be charged this, you're gonna be charged. I didn't care. Homeboy ghosted me. Like he didn't. I feel like I know for a fact he was, but this was a part of the manipulation. He stopped talking to me while I was in Nigeria and trying to make me feel bad for going. So this is the start of the manipulation, right? Trying to separate you from your family, from your friends. To be honest with you, during the duration, towards the latter, like I was with my friends a lot, but in the beginning, I barely talked to my friends. Barely talked to my friends. I was just always with him. So I'm in Nigeria trying to get through to him, and he's like, not answering my calls. Won't talk to me. Wants nothing to do with me, like ghosts me, literally. And I was only there for like a week. And I get back, and I'm like, hey, I was trying to contact you. I was there. Like, what happened? Attitude. Nasty. And I'm like, okay, my bad. Sorry, not sorry, but sorry. Just trying to appease the situation. And it's like, all right, manipulation, separate you from your friends and family, but I'm still going with it. Still hanging out with this dude. And definitely we stopped hanging out every day at that point. Like we weren't hanging out every day after that. Like we stopped kicking it every day. I would see him in a week, maybe like 4 days a week instead of 7 days a week. Yeah, but he and I kind of like decreased it, like it went down a little bit. And I noticed obviously a shift. And I think he was starting to talk to other people, and he kind of like would use that, oh, you did this or you did that, or just like dumb stuff. And I was just like, dude, like, no. But because you're broken, you're not really rating yourself. You're going with it. You're pressed, so you kind of just go with it. And it's just like, How did we get here? And no, this dude's younger than me. How you gonna let this young boy manipulate you like this? Ah, go. The pepper he showed me at times. The pepper he showed me at times. It really did something to my self-esteem for sure. For sure did something to my self-esteem. Such a low place. Such a low place at times of him. To the point where you start to question, and it's the gaslighting too, right? So you're questioning like, did I do something wrong? Oh yeah, maybe I did something wrong. So you find yourself apologizing for stuff and it's just like, girl, you didn't even do anything wrong. Like you really didn't do anything wrong. Not a daggone thing. Not a thing. So here I am still 7-8 months into it. The shenanigans, the foolishness. I think he starts talking to someone else. So what his thing was, whenever he would start talking to someone else, he would trying to point blame on me and trying to like say I did something wrong or I'm this or I'm not and trying to find fault in me. And because I wasn't strong and secure who I was, I would say, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Or yeah, or no, or whatever like that. Hold on, let me read some notes. All right, let me tell you about another incident and then we'll read the note. So I'm on travel for work. I have to go to New Orleans for work. And he and I were slated to go to Atlanta like the weekend that I got back. So I'm like, hey, I get back from New Orleans on Thursday, and then you and I could head off to Atlanta for the weekend just to catch vibes and just hang out. He's like, no, I'm not going anymore. I'm like, huh? He's like, I'm not going anymore. I said, why? He said, because I don't want to go. And I said, all right, so whatever. He was kind of moody. So he would kind of do like, why am I looking over here? This doorknob. He would kind of do like moody stuff. I was like, all right, whatever. So I go to New Orleans for work and I have a convention, leading like meetings and just busy, right? So while I'm there, I get back on that Thursday and like I would speak to him maybe like once a day in the evening because I was like gone like the whole day. I would be in meetings all day from like 7 a.m. to like 6 p.m. And I will usually call him, when I get back. Yeah, so I would usually call him when I get back in the room or whatever, after a long day of work. And okay, so I got back and he was like, oh yeah, so before he told me he wasn't going, he was upset because I was only calling him once a day. And I explained to you, like, I'm leading meetings, I'm busy, like it's a 4-day conference, like I'm entrenched, like it's a lot of work. And he's like, I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm like, huh? He's like, I'm not going to Atlanta. I was like, okay, but you bought the flight. Like he bought the flight and I like booked the hotel. He was like, I'm not going anymore. And immediately like blocked me, deleted me. So I'm like, is it star 67 where you have to call the person? So I'm like, star 67, trying to get in contact with him. And he's not answering, not responding. So he's like, I'm not going. We didn't end up going. We did not end up going. Homeboy was just like, no, he's not going. Not going. And I'm just like, wow. It was to the point where even before that whole incident, it was to the point where I had to be like, God, please, I don't want to do this anymore. I was like, please, girl, ladies, you know how we could be sometimes, like a little rebound or somebody. I was like, please bring me somebody. I cannot do this anymore. I'm like, you start losing your mind. I remember being at work and I just remember just being in tears. Like I would have to leave the building whenever I did go in. I would have to leave the building and just go out and I would be in tears walking around the building in DC, like just walking around in tears. And it's like, I didn't even do anything to this guy. Manipulation. Huh. And I know people talk about like narcissistic, but I guess these are narcissistic traits. But to be honest with you, I don't know if he was mentally, I don't know. There's so many, let me not, but there were so many incidents. Oh, God. Father. So many incidents, so many red flags, so many just foolishness. Like, how did we get here? I look back at some of the things that I did and I said, how did we get here? And I'm not like crazy. Like, I'm not one of those girls who would like do drive-bys. No, I don't do like too much crazy stuff like that. But like, I would like call your phone. I've gotten better since then. But like, if we're in the middle of like an argument and I'm trying to get my point across, I would like continuously call. And it was just like, I would like call back to back to back. Nothing, no response. And I'm left there sitting like, you really start to think you did something wrong. And it's because this person has manipulated you. They have gaslighted you to think that you've done something when you've honestly done not a thing. Not a thing. So yeah, these are just one of many incidents, one of umpteen million incidents that I had to go through. Yeah, but yeah, anywho, let me read an excerpt from my note section. This was okay, so this was July 15th, 2020 at 4:30 in the morning. Why am I up at 4:30 in the morning? Probably in tears in my note section. And it's called Happiness from Within. Okay? Deep issues from within. Hence why I'm always falling in love with unavailable men. I need to unpackage this a bit. Do I not love myself enough? I come across as this secure certain one, however, deep down inside, I'm this confused, hurt little girl. Who are you? And I name all these characteristics. And I say, listen to your heart, and most importantly, listen to God. He will never and has never led you astray. I choose to be happy because life is beautiful. You got this. I said, I'm just trying to navigate through this thing called life the best way I can. Not sure if there's an easier path, but I know this journey that I've been through on the past 2 years, by this time I'm 2 years in, has taught me a thing or two. I don't regret anything. Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff. But okay, so I like this note because this was where I started to mentally check out. And women, we're good at that. We will mentally check out before we physically check out. So by July 15th of 2020, I had already mentally checked out. I no longer was interested, no longer wanted to do it, but I was still going with the motion, to the point where I traveled to where he's from to meet his family in the islands, right? Didn't even want anything to do with the guy, but traveled to Jamaica. So physically I'm there, but mentally I'm writing notes like this. Another note I wrote like a month after this, August of 2020, it's over. This chapter of my life is at the end. And then I go into like the things I'll miss. I said, I'll take little bits from this and move on. And at this point, it's like just accepting that it's over. So this was a month after that. And like I said, still after this, 4 months after I wrote that on August 8th, I still went down to meet his family in the islands. Packing barrels, doing this, doing that, just there. Physically, but mentally, I didn't want nothing to do with this guy no more. Mentally, I had checked out, gone, but I was still there, still with the motion. And then put the cherry on top is, it was, oh God. Such a volatile experience the first time meeting his family. Overall, a decent trip, but there were so many pivotal moments on that trip that just broke me. They broke me. I left from that trip broken, extremely broken. Remember, mentally I was gone, but physically I was still there. So this is still me going through the process of like getting through things, right? So broken. My self-worth was a zero. A zero. A zero. Me? Oh, me? Me? Obsessed with me? Yes. Me? Obsessed with me back then? Hell no. I was broken. And it's because of all the manipulation, the mind screwing, the gaslighting, the just toxic. It was bad. And to make matters worse, no one really knew what I was going through because I wasn't talking to anyone about it except for God. I would have like crying sessions talking to God, but I would feel him comfort me. I would hear him saying like, I got you. You're okay. Tears. If the amount of tears and buckets of tears that were collected around this time of my life. Buckets could fill a whole pool, swimming pool, a small swimming pool. Buckets of water. In such a low tide. Oh God, oh God. Wow. Yeah, so that was the straw that broke the camel's back. However, I was already mentally gone, but that trip broke me. And then I decided to go back down again with my home girls. Broke me even more. It was like I was down and I just kept like, it was like it wasn't enough. Like I wasn't in enough pain and I just kept putting myself in these really bad situations with someone who did not have the capacity to love me the way that I deserved to be loved. Golly. Yeah. So it's my bad if this is kind of all over the place because I've never done a sit down like this before. So my bad if it's kind of pew, 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 pew. So yeah, so that's December of 2020, me, his family, whatever. But like I said, I'm mentally checked out, but physically still there. That trip broke me. And these are one of the notes that I wrote when we got back from that trip. I said, this was at December 9th, 2020 at 7 o'clock p.m. I labeled it feelings. I said, I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to go through this again. I said, next time around, I want to be with someone who cherishes me and loves me for all of me. Not someone who will bring me down and make me feel worthless. I deserve the best, and I'm a person. I am that girl. I'm that person, you know? So just little words of affirmation I would send myself for sure. Or write whatever I was feeling. But me and God, we go together real bad now. But back then, that was my confidant. I talk to him a lot now, but I really talk to him. Like I would, everything. I will go, everything I was feeling, I would talk to myself, not in like a crazy way, but I would just like have to hype myself up and literally replay scenarios and be like, yo, you literally didn't do anything wrong. Just to make sure I'm not going cuckoo, right? And if you know, ladies, a lot of us have been in these situations. So, like I said, I'm physically there, but mentally checked out. So after that trip down to the islands, I came back and we completely stopped talking. Like he stopped talking to me. He cut me off. We stopped talking. And ladies, y'all know what it's like when the willpower you have to not call somebody. I did that for like 5-6 weeks straight. My girl would call me, be like, how we doing? Because this is when like my friends were starting to get a drift of like what was going on, right? Because they came down there with me that last trip when it was like really when stuff hit the ceiling. How we doing? You all right? You know, willpower, don't call, don't just stay away. So I did really well. Like I wouldn't call, I wouldn't, you know, and of course They always come back. So of course he calls me like probably 6 weeks after that trip. And he's just like, hey, what's up? How are you? And like a hooligan, a silly rabbit. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, let's hang out. Sure. So a bit of you is like gassed and excited because that person's still thinking about you and still desires you. But that's a part of the manipulation to see if they can still will you back in and still control you. But remember, like I said, us women, I'm mentally gone. I'm checked out. But physically still going with the motion. So when we hung out that first time after 6 weeks, I was like, ew. I do not like him. I do not like you. Obviously, I didn't tell him, but I was just like, what the hell were you thinking? What were you thinking? What were you thinking, girl? What were you thinking? Okay, so this was before he called me. This is January 5th, 2021. I think he and I hung out in February of 2021 when I was just like, ooh. But I labeled it healing at 8:07 in the morning. Feeling heavy, feeling down, multiple thoughts running through my mind. God, I need you to help me. Please, God, I want this chapter completely closed. Yearning for the day when I feel free and healed. Strip away sadness and defeat. Focus on healing. It's the only way to make it through. Find that true inner peace, knowing my self-worth. I didn't know who I was. I was lost. I got lost in this toxic situationship. I don't even know if I would call it a relationship. It was a situationship. I got lost. So yeah, fast forward, we hang out, and I'm like, ooh, I don't even like this dude. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I really don't want him. I didn't want him since I wrote that note in July of 2020. You know? So here it's just like, yeah, I really don't want it. It just confirmed everything. It just nailed up the coffin for sure. Like, you don't even like this dude. So it just confirmed everything I was feeling 7 months prior in July from that note I read to y'all from July of 2020. I didn't want to be in it anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was so beneath me. I started looking at him with disgust. Ooh, you start looking at that person with disgust. That's when you know it's a wrap. Ugh. Ew. You start finding little stuff about them that's just like, it's really a no for me. It confirms everything. But anywho, that was my little experience. And please forgive me if I'm like kind of all over the place, like I said, but a lot of us ladies have gone through the same thing. So I don't even really need to say but so many more incidents or examples of things that I've been through, because a lot of us have been through the same stuff, same situations, being with someone who's manipulative, being with someone who's toxic, being with someone who gaslights you. And a lot of the times they accuse you of things that they're doing. Oh, you're talking to this person, you're talking to that person. When in actuality, no, I'm not. And I kind of only like you because if you knew who I truly was, you would know that I only really barely like anybody. And you better be glad that I even like you. Like, for real. When you think about it, in hindsight, it's just like, really? Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, not even worth it. Especially like if you find yourself kind of going through their stuff. Girl, the moment you start doing that, get out of there. Run for the hills. It's not worth it. It is not worth your peace of mind. It is not worth your sanity. It's not worth it. And I thank God that things weren't, because things could have went left really bad all the time, but God always had me, always looked out for me, always protected me for sure. Because I look back at some situation, I'm just like, God, that was only you. I look back to some of our arguments and how they would escalate, and it's just like, God, it was only you that like a bottle didn't get like slammed over my head at times, like for real, because that's how intense these arguments would be. Like to the point where there was one incident where my foot almost got ran over after a argument, like zooming off and almost ran over my foot, like literally almost by an inch. Like I probably wouldn't have a foot. All the bones would have been shattered in my poor little foot, all because of a man you shouldn't have been talking to in the first place. Because from the moment you met him, you knew he wasn't the one. Women, ladies, sometimes, I don't regret anything though, because a lot of this stuff I need to go through. But a lot of the times we don't need to go through it. God doesn't want us to suffer. He doesn't want us to be sad. He doesn't want us to be in shambles. That's not what he wants for us. But if we follow him, we listen to those intuitions, we listen to him speaking to us, then you'll realize, oh, no, red flags. Boom, boom, slap, boom, boom. And you keep just going. We're guilty of it. For sure. A lot of us are guilty of it. Let me look back at my notes. Yeah. Those were a lot of the notes that I wrote. And I think he caters to a brokenness within, for sure. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing that I would say, the biggest 3 takeaways I would say from this story time would be your intuition. God gave it to us for a reason. We be knowing, follow it, right? Know it, follow it. It keeps you out of trouble. Second is knowing your self-worth, knowing that you shouldn't have to feel undermined. You shouldn't have to feel gaslit. You shouldn't have to feel like you're less than. If that's how you feel, that's not your person. That is not your person. Not your person. Not your person. Your person doesn't manipulate you. Your person doesn't belittle you. Your person doesn't make you lose your self-worth. That is not your person. That is not your person. Follow that intuition. Follow that intuition. It's given to us for a reason. Follow it. Follow that thing. I'm trying to think. I said 3. Intuition. Your person won't belittle you, make you feel less than, manipulate you, all those things. There's so many other takeaways. And then leaning on God. He always sees you through. He's always got you. If you do find yourself in these situations, just know that he's got you. You'll be fine. But yeah, he doesn't want us to be in these situations. So just freaking use your intuition that he gave us. Easier said than done, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that was my little dark space for 3 years almost. Jesus, 3 years in a dark space. I mean, there were some good times, but the bad times definitely outweighed the good times, for sure. For sure. And if it wasn't for God, hey, God, I would be damaged goods. But God said, not my daughter. Not my daughter. He never was the one for you, and you knew it the whole time. You knew it, girl. You were just going for a vibe. Just going for a vibe that destroyed your inner peace, a vibe that destroyed your self-worth, a vibe that destroyed so many things. Not worth it. A vibe. Not worth it. Not worth it at all, ladies. But we serve a good God, so ain't no regret. We just move. We move, we keep pushing, we have faith, and it's all good. You live and you learn, right? So these experiences are supposed to make you wiser. But if you consistently find yourself in these situations, in these situationships, in these relationships with these narcissistic men, you got to start looking at yourself. Because if you're repeating the same thing over and over and over again, that's called insanity. So do a little self-check. If you are constantly finding yourself with men who treat you the same way, you got to do some introspective work, for sure. For sure. And note those red flags and bounce. You don't need to show me 2, 3. You need to show me 1 red flag and I'm out of there. Bye. Anywho, let me wrap things up. Because I need to get some sleep because I'm going out of town tomorrow morning with my girls, my special girls. We're going to NYC for the night. Staying in my favorite city. Well, my second favorite city outside of DMV area. Staying in my favorite borough, Brooklyn. What up? Brooklyn, stand up. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad that I did this because I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. On the way home, I was just like, should I record? And then literally the whole almost 50 minutes, like I wasn't recording. So I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I'm recorded this reflective episode. Episode 10 was a reflective episode. And it's on my birthday. So this was the perfect time to do so. Just kind of reflect on a moment in your life where you were down in a space. Because if you would have asked me what mood I was in back then, I would have said depressed, stressed and depressed. So to go from being in the mood of stressed and depressed to being in the mood of grateful and gratitude, it's only by God's grace. That's why that's my, we go together really bad. Really bad. It's only by God's grace. So I'm so glad I was able to do this story time with y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Like I said, it's all over the place, but I think for a lot of us, if you know, you know. I don't need to go through a slew of scenarios for you all to understand what I endured, because it's very relatable, and that's one of the premise of this pod is it's relatable. We go through things in life. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to come on here and tell my story on my birthday. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah. So in the expectation fashion, let's go through words of advice or affirmation you would give your 21-year-old self based on what you know today. And that would be your uniqueness is your power. That's where all your strength lies. That's what you need to leverage. That's what's going to get you far in life is your uniqueness, right? That's what makes you beautiful. You're what is wonderfully and uniquely made. Shout out to LoSi Beauty. That's her slogan. I'll put her information in the description box below. You are uniquely and wonderfully made. Don't quote me, but that is a quote, a verse from the Bible. And that's where all your power lies, is you being you. You know, you don't need to be like anyone else. Stay in your own lane, run your own race. You don't have anyone to compete with but yourself, and stay true to you. And that will get you so far in life. So far in life. Oh, that's your superpower, your uniqueness. Know it. Run with it. Run with it. Embrace it. Don't be like everybody else. Be like you. Be like you. That's your strength. So yeah, that's definitely my words of affirmation. And then the last segment on repeat, because music is life. Music is life. So on the way home from like running around, mani-pedi hair, just getting ready to head out of town tomorrow, I was listening to Donnie McClurkin, Speak to My Heart, and I was like, I started tearing up because I was just like, speak to me, God. I want to hear you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you. I want to get closer to you. I want everything that you want from me. I want everything in my heart desires to align what you want from me. So yeah, that was what I was rocking on the way home because I was apprehensive about doing this, but that just gave me the courage to just be like, yes, record it, do you. And yeah, we're here. And thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. I hope you all enjoy it. It's just me, myself, and I, and that's it. But if you have any questions or dilemmas, send them into the unmetexpectation@gmail.com. Again, that's the unmetexpectation@gmail.com. Send them in. We could work through whatever questions you have, whatever dilemmas. I'm really, really good at like kind of finding solutions. That's, I would say, a strong suit of mine. So bring them in, tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all need to let Unmet to the world. Let people know about this pod because it is the pod. let people know. Yeah, and I think that's it. Happy birthday to me again. And I'm out.